Traveling to tournaments is a lot of fun, and it's even more fun when you pack the right gear. Today we're going to talk about everything you need to pack with you when you're traveling for a tournament. Now, the most important thing you'll need is a good bow case. Bow case protects your bow, your arrows, and all your other equipment so that it arrives in the same condition as when you left. Now, if you're flying, you're going to need a bow case that's airline approved. Like, this is a hard bow case that has really sturdy latches, it has wheels and carrying handles that make it easy when you're wheeling in and out of the tournament, around the hotels, when you get to the venue. They're soft bow cases that are also airline approved. You just want to make sure you have something that's going to protect your bow really well. Now, if you're driving, you can pretty much use any bow case that you want. You might want to just, buy one really good bow case to begin with, so then you can use it for everything. Now, flying with a bow is actually really easy. You check it pretty much just like regular luggage. You don't have to let the airlines know ahead of time or anything like that. When you get to the airport, you'll go to the baggage counter, tell them that your case has archery equipment in it, and they'll either take the case from you right then, or they'll send you to a screening area where your bow will go through an x-ray machine. After it gets through the x-ray machine, I would recommend putting your own padlock on there. Like this bow case has spots for a padlock. It doesn't have to be a TSA lock. If they need to get into your bow case, they'll call you over the loudspeaker. Now, the reason I recommend locking your bow case is because I've had TSA go through my bow case before, and they don't always put everything back the way that you had it. What you put inside your bow case is pretty much everything that you would bring with you a normal day of practice. So you would need your bow, your sight, all your accessories, as well as a quiver. For most tournaments, a dozen arrows is just fine. If you're going somewhere overseas, you might want to bring 2 dozen, so you have some for practice, some for the tournament. It never hurts to have spares, but a dozen will get you through just about any tournament. Again, you'll need a quiver, and it's a good idea to bring a spare release or a finger tab, as well as a bow stand, like the one that my bow's sitting on right now. If you're shooting at your local leagues, there's probably a bow hook or a bow stand there that you can use, but at tournaments that's not always the case. So it's a good idea to have a good bow stand to set your bow on when you're not shooting. Then, when you're traveling, there's not always an archery shop nearby, so you kind of have to bring a small repair kit, just in case something goes wrong. So, probably the most common thing that you'll need is some spare knocks. If you're shooting good groups and busting some knocks, you can just replace them right on the shooting line. It's no big deal. Some spare fletching never hurts to have, as well as maybe a fletching jig. Along the same route, some fletching glue. Serving material for your center serving, your peep sights, your knocking points, that kind of stuff. It's always a good item to have with you. Wrenches that correspond to your stuff. If you have an arrow rest that uses metric wrenches, make sure you have metric wrenches. If your bow uses Torx wrenches, make sure you have those. Obviously, Allen wrenches are the most common, but just make sure you have what you need. If something comes loose, you can tighten it right away. A sharp knife is handy for cutting away old serving if you need to replace it. Some extra D-loop material, which also could be used for your drop cord if you're using a drop away rest. A pen for writing down your scores or signing your scorecards at the end of shooting, always a good item to have, as well as like a gold or silver Sharpie, which would be used for writing your initials on your arrows. Lighter is nice for burning the ends of your D-loop or your center serving. At tournaments, you're going to be most likely shooting fairly new target bales, which can be harder to pull arrows from. So an arrow puller and some arrow lube are really valuable because you don't want to spend all your energy pulling arrows. You want to be saving your energy for shooting arrows. So highly recommend that you pack these two items with you. And when you're bored, you have nothing to do in a hotel room, a shop trainer like this one or a stretch band can be fun to have. You can do visualization training with it. You can kind of get the feel of your shot down, use it to warm up, that type of stuff. And then I like to put my repair kit in a zipper pouch like this just to keep it organized. Some type of binoculars or spotting scope. It's good for just about every tournament that you would go to. For outdoor and indoor tournaments, spotting your arrows so you can make sight adjustments or hold off more for the wind. And for 3D tournaments, binoculars help you find the scoring range so you know where to aim. If you're going with family or something like that, they should have their own binoculars so they can see where you're hitting. It makes the archery tournament a little more fun for them as well. Now, that's just about it for gear. You might want to add some things depending on the type of tournament you're going to. For example, if you're going to a 3D tournament, having like a 3D stool is really nice. It holds your arrows, you can put water and stuff like that in there. Of course, it's a chair when the range gets backed up. Other than that, you want to make sure that you pack clothing that's appropriate for your tournament. So if you're going to a tournament that has a dress code, like a USA Archery event, you can't wear jeans. So make sure you pack khakis or shorts or pants that match the dress code, as well as proper footwear and clothing that's appropriate for the weather that's going to be at the tournament. Archery tournaments are rain or shine events, so if rain is in the forecast, an umbrella, a rain jacket, rain boots are really nice to have. If it's going to be scorching hot, like if you're going to Arizona Cup or something like that, make sure you bring plenty of sunscreen. And if you're going to a 3D tournament that's going to be in the woods, bug spray is always good to have. No one likes to shoot while being bitten by mosquitoes. So things like that, really make sure that you plan ahead, watch the weather, make sure you know the dress code, and pack smartly. Then it's really important that you don't forget anything, especially something like a release or your sight. It sounds obvious, but people have forgotten, including myself, important gear. Luckily, at some of the bigger tournaments, there are vendors there so you can buy an extra release if you need to. But it's a good idea to check twice. Like, don't just assume that your release is in your release pouch. Make sure it's in there. Things like that. I hope this video was helpful for all of you guys who are traveling to tournaments this year. Wish you the best of luck, and we'll see you in the next video.